You're in the Business Insurance Zone with me, Steve Savant, syndicated financial columnist and contributing author to Backroom Technician. This week on The Biz, online marketing, and on today's show, consumer online marketing with special co-host Jessica Lopez, all here on the Business Insurance Zone.
When it comes to life insurance, annuities, long-term care, disability, or group pension plans, we're the news you can use.
Well, welcome everyone to the Business Insurance Zone. I'm your host, Steve Savant, and we're broadcasting to a nationwide audience of financial producers. And the reason we are is because we're online and the internet is worldwide. And where are we doing that from? Fountain Hills, Arizona, home of America's largest fountain. And I got to tell you, the Chamber of Commerce loves us because you think that the Chamber is pulling clicks and page views on the fountain, which is the largest in America. Our show is more producing the kind of traffic here. And you should see, Jesse, isn't it true? Oh, got to introduce my, and of course with me today, co-host Jessica Lopez.
Thank you, Steve.
Isn't it true? I mean, when they do I remember that February, we just had their artisans. They had that huge festival here. I mean, I don't know how many thousands of people come down there for that.
It's a great attraction, and they actually have a big movie screen they put out by the fountain too.
It's huge.
You know, it's a pretty good deal. And you know, today we really wanted to focus in on consumers. You know, how to market to them. You know, one thing that we haven't mentioned yet this week is the attraction of the consumer audience that we found with the business shows that we're doing.
Right.
You know, so we're talking about life insurance, annuities, retirement, you know, all sorts of things that are hitting home with individuals out there. And they're like, you know what, this is something that I think I need to look into. So we literally get phone calls in from consumers looking for some guidance, some help. And so, you know, we basically want to make sure that everybody is aware that we can help guide you into how to attract these individuals as well and make them your clients.
Think about it. Our consumer side of our outlet did over 800 cases. Now that's a lot of cases direct to the consumer. And think about this, we did a retirement, non-qualified retirement, indexed universal life for $20,000 at Target. Now, when you think about those kind of calls coming in here, and the consumer saying, Steve, you were the only guy on the net that said you could lose money with IUL. See? And people perk up to that. They said, what's going on? So
they want to hear the real deal.
That's right. And we're trying to be the kind of consumer. Remember, on the Business Insurance Zone, we're not doing that, but we just have the traffic. But it's because of that we decided to develop more of a show that would be a lot less acronyms, down to earth, things that people want to talk about, things that we see that are being spoken and addressed on the first couple pages of Google. Now, interestingly enough, we took One for the Money as a perfect example of a consumer show. It's 30 minutes. It actually fits on a 28-minute, 50-second platform for television. We went out for the first quarter and we did television. Now, that show was airing, think about this, 30 minutes before the Sunday night NFL game. So people are clicking and I'm right next to this channel. So I'm getting clicks just because of the location of the station on the actual cable network. So that was an issue. But the moment the NFL season was over, February 3rd after Super Bowl, I noticed my ratings, my Nielsen ratings going up. Now think about this. I'm competing with The Simpsons, you know, 2.5 Men, Family Guy, reruns of MASH. I mean, you know, it's just, we're competing steady. Because once I lost the competition of the NFL, like who can compete against that? I started to move up. But here is the difference, and here's a big difference. Yes, we got the ratings. But no, we didn't get the response from our clients on television. Nowhere near as we did online on the internet.
Right, and which leads me to my next question, Steve. You know, really we're taking a look at, okay, who is our consumer audience? How are they finding us, right? So first thing that comes to mind are Googleites.
Right.
Explain to me a little bit about who a Googleite is and why that matters.
Well, you know, they said that we are the baby boomers. We invented all this, you know, the internet, all the people that are, you know, Steve Jobs, Bill, you know, Gates, all these guys, we invented it. We just don't know how to use it, you know, right? But we're now trolling the net. The #1 demographic of Googleites, people trolling the net for information, are seniors now. They have all this time now in their retirement. They're going to class to learn how to traverse the online issues of Google and so forth, learning how to use search engines. And so learning how to use search engine optimized words becomes hugely important because that's what's keying off of Google. And because we're on video, that video, those first 200 words are getting SEO, search engine optimized, right off Google.
Right.
So think about that. Now, we tried radio too. Again, there's nothing wrong with these mediums, but we're not getting near the traffic we're getting on when you compare it to online. And why is that? Because the law of large numbers. I mean, our viewing audience on television here locally in Arizona was about 85,000 potential people watching at that one period in time. Now, the audience is bigger, but they try to demographic and skinny it down because of our content. It's financial.
Right.
So we might get 85, but think about that. We didn't get anywhere near the traffic. We get more traffic online because the law of large numbers is way bigger than 85,000.
Right.
So you have to start looking at numbers that are so big. And here's what we're doing. We're developing consumer information, consumer shows, consumer tweets and blogs. And why? So that we can hand it to producers to use to drive people to traffic, not to our sites now, but to drive them to the producer's site.
Right.
See, to me, that's the new game changer out. And that's why we're talking about this all week, because our sponsor, our underwriter, Brokers Alliance, who invented this whole idea with David Rasage's thinking. Think about this. We've tried the conventional ways of television, radio, magazine, GoToMeeting, all these things we're talking about. We're going a whole different way on this.
Right.
Now, when you're a Googleite, you start to think about search engine optimization. Let me tell you, just as a little side note, the real estate community is so appreciative of the third dimension bird's eye view on the Bing search engine when you're looking for neighborhoods.
Oh, right.
Oh my goodness. The old shot way is straight down from the satellite. They are right there taking a shot right into it.
Right at the house.
That
Yep.
has boosted consumer traffic to real estate sites. We figured out a way to boost traffic to your site using consumer shows, blogs, and tweets and content that can support your practice and start driving business directly to your site, not to ours, to the producers. When we come back, we're going to continue our discussions and open your mind up to some consumer online thinking with our co-host, Jessica Lopez. Hey, and don't forget to enroll in IULUniversity.com for the best training, education, and sales support when it comes to life insurance for retirement income.
You're listening to the insurance industry's #1 resource for products, planning ideas, carrier information, and interviews you can use. When it comes to life insurance, annuities, long-term care, disability, or group pension plans, we're the news you can use.
Did you know the average 401k runs out of money just 7 to 8 years into retirement? Time Magazine, the Wall Street Journal, and many other publications have warned of the difficulty of saving with a 401k. But what if there was a way to create tax-free lifetime retirement income with no stock market risk? Good news, there is.
Living in fear of the next market dive is not the way I want to live my life.
Why would I go out there and take on risk when I don't need to?
I have a lot less stress knowing I can't lose any more of my retirement savings in the stock market.
Call now to receive your free, no-obligation analysis of what this retirement vehicle could do for you, a comparison to your current retirement plan, and a free video that explains this exciting opportunity. Start planning a retirement you can enjoy instead of worrying about future tax increases and stock market losses. Creating income that will last your entire life is the most important thing you'll ever do. Take control of your future. Call now for your free analysis, comparison, and video.
Well, welcome back to the Business Insurance Zone. I'm Steve Savant with Jessica Lopez. And remember, you can order today's materials on thebiz.tv, at thebiz.tv. And while you're out there, click on the Background Technician icon right on the Biz blog for your free 30-day trial offer on Background Technician. It is the best needs analysis and client educational material. I've been using it for 22 years. It's embedded in all my shows. I highly recommend it. I think they're selling for $50 a month. I promise you, whatever you pay for this, you will get back in sales because this is great communication. And remember, many broker-dealers have already adopted Background Technician as their platform for client communication in the public domain. It's just great. And remember, before moving forward with any of the ideas you hear on our show, whether they're tax or they're legal, always touch base with your advisor or your legal counsel. And if you're FINRA licensed, don't forget to check in with your BD. Always make sure you're compliant. And that's kind of where I'm going to go here on this, Jessica, because everybody says, that's great, but what about compliance? Well, the SEC just updated the compliance for using Facebook and some of these other social medias to communicate with clients.
Oh boy.
I've lived to see the day.
Right, right.
So we're talking about that. Yeah.
Right. I mean, and being compliant is probably one of the hardest things when you come across marketing and so forth. And I've personally had conversations with producers that are out there independent, doing their own advertising by way of billboards, magazines, radio advertisements and so forth. And you have to be very careful, especially if you're going in and mentioning carriers' names, specific product information and so forth. So we've been doing this for years. So what we've done is basically make it as simple as possible. We go through, we take care of all the compliance issues. We know how to market without having to worry about those issues. And if it's a situation where we have to really kind of dig into more details in the advertising for a specific product or carrier, then we've already gone through all the red tape to make sure that it is A-OK to post out there to the consumer.
And remember, Jessica's just alluding to non-FINRA product lines that are done by life insurance, annuity carriers, disability, long-term care, all those areas. Think about this, we went one step further even than that, because we have to get compliance from the carriers. We need the language. If we're going to use their name, they want to see it.
Right.
But not a problem, we do all that. But what we've went one step further than that is to be able to homogenize a show like One for the Money, which is our consumer show, and be able to post that in such a way that it's already cleared our broker-dealer. And our broker-dealer, the person who does our compliance as well as our advertising, those two areas actually represent, think about this, almost 7,000 representatives, registered reps. So they have a broad base. They have a very typical way of looking at this. Backroom Technician, again, one of our vendors, they are using that as their compliance, so they can use it as public domain. But the bigger issue is they take our show and we submit our show. We do it all before. You don't have to do, and as Jessica said, it's already done for you. Right. So when you're posting this, now remember, if you're FINRA licensed, you still need to have them look at it from a point of view to get it okayed. But you can always say it's non-FINRA. Carriers have looked at this already, as well as it's already went through the gauntlet of another broker-dealer. And I know that's not going to satisfy them, but at least they can say somebody's looked at this. And remember, we have to file that with the FINRA, and they pay money for that. So they already know it's out there and approved. Somebody looked at this, okay?
Absolutely.
So it's really a powerful thing to have this thing turnkeyed and compliant all done.
Right. Now, tell me a little bit about millennial messaging.
Well, you are Miss Millennial. I mean, I'm baby boomer, you're Miss Millennial, you're Gen Xer all the way. Everybody talks differently in every generation. I mean, I was watching the 40s with Humphrey Bogart and the way they were talking about swing music, and it seems so archaic and big band, right? And then you look at movies done in the 50s with Marlon Brando on a bike, Marlon Brando on a bike, revving it up, and the music of the 50s with Bo Diddley, Chuck Berry, Elvis Presley, and everybody's language. Well, the millennial messaging, it's funny, we invent the internet, the baby boomers, we invent how to work all this, but we don't know how to message, we don't know how to use it, it's pathetic. We're the architects of it, but we're not user. And the millennial generation is user-friendly. This is another issue. All carriers are trying to figure out how to recruit millennial producers, but more than that, how to sell to millennial buyers, consumers. Right. Now, that's a big issue. So we have to change the way we talk and message. And if you haven't seen the show, and I had her on about a year and a half ago, Maria Umbach, MDRT speaker, one of the most innovative people I've ever heard on language and messaging. And she has this down. And that's another thing we want to do is all these young people are so underserved and underinsured. And what we're doing now is we're bringing to bear the millennial message, the Generation X language, the grammar that actually works on page 1 and 2 of Google. That's our goal.
Right, and just going along with all of everything we've been talking about this week, time. Time is a huge factor, and when you're reaching out to a certain demographic, looking at people who are, 25 to 40 years old, everybody's working, they've got kids usually, they're, busy, busy, and I don't have time to sit with an advisor to do this and any other thing, so what do? We go, finally get home from work at the end of the day, get on our laptop or our phone, and just basically, oh, you know what, I need more insurance. Let me Google life insurance and see what comes up. And then here you go, here's some options, here's some quick, easy ways to get a quote, easy, fast, simple, done. And as an independent producer out there, we want to basically help to put you in a position where you get the recognition that you deserve and give more of a personal feel to the consumers that are out there versus, going to some of the big boys that are out there, the direct writers, because trust me, they're way at the top when they're looking in Google. They're coming at the top. You have TV commercials for those individuals. We're basically here to help catapult you into a different level of marketing so that you can be more successful in what you're doing every day.
Yeah, our goal is to drive people to your website. And using that, when I think about it, When you take a consumer show and put it on video and it's on your media widget right on your site, and it's supported by Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, Google+, Pinterest if you want to go out into that land, and you're always sending it out to YouTube and video. I mean, when you think about that, that combination is so huge, and we've already done the turnkey marketing for it. Well, that's our show for today. Remember, you can follow me on Twitter, Facebook, and LinkedIn, and email me at steve@thebiz.tv. That's the buzz on the biz for today. You've been in the zone, the Business Insurance Zone.
You're listening to the insurance industry's #1 resource for products, planning ideas, carrier information, and interviews you can use. When it comes to life insurance, annuities, long-term care, disability, or group pension plans, we're the news you can use.